Well, here we are. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is finally here. I ended up watching it, so I'm gonna give you guys my quick, spoiler-free review on what I thought of it. Now, of course, going into this series, I was a little up and down. Some stuff I thought looked interesting, other stuff I thought looked absolutely horrible. So, again, without spoilers, let's get into my review. So the only thing I will say, because I know it's going to get brought up in the comments and people are obsessed with it, is this show connected to the MCU? No, there is absolutely no connection. Again, without spoilers, there are parallels that you can draw upon and look at in the MCU and go, oh, those events are kind of the same, but literally it's not in the MCU. This is just a new Spider-Man cartoon that's like, imagine it as a what if scenario, right? Pretty much like anything. And with that in mind, even the Spider-Man, the animated series 90s cartoon is technically a what if scenario of the MCU if you really want to stretch it, right? That's what I'm saying here. So getting into this, I got mixed feelings on this. Obviously, I'm talking about the first wave of episodes that hit. I watched them. And well, what we got here is a fresh new take on Spider-Man. And by that I mean you can tell that they were going for a MCU-like show before they figured, yeah, this isn't really going to work for us. We're super limited. And I think that shows in some of it because some of the animation that was clearly done when that was the idea and some of the themes are still present here. But then there are interesting ways that they play around with it and also do things on their own that quickly separate it away from that former vision, which I think works here. The one thing that I think does work is the supporting cast. I think that they all have a good place here. They all find themselves. Everybody you can see by the end of the series is going to be defined with a distinct voice and a role in them. And that's something I always appreciate about every iteration of Spider-Man. You know, there's a variety of characters that represent New York, from skin color to, religious beliefs to sometimes no religious beliefs and or magical stuff like Nico, for example, who's from the Runaways. And I really love that. She's Wiccan, so that's obviously going to come into play later on. And what else I like about this was that they do give us time to understand this world and who everybody is right out the gate and what they're going for. Now, outside of the positive, oh man, do I got plenty of negative. The animation at times is good, but at other times, it's some of the worst I've seen from Marvel. You're going to notice scenes where we are following Peter, and suddenly he's like on the street, and something happens. And you quickly notice that everybody behind him is not moving. Or if they're moving at like 3 frames a second. And that's not helped anymore by the fact that the series can go from Peter swinging and fighting at 10 to 15 frames a second to a smooth 30-ish looking, and then the offset frame rate on different aspects and how the camera moves. Like, for example, a tracking camera. You guys know those shots in films and TV shows where the camera's moving backwards, but it's zooming in on the character, and it looks really cool? They do things like that here in animation, but the camera's moving at like a smooth 30 while Peter is moving at like 10. And it's just jarring and does not work. There's also a significant lack of depth and shadows in specific scenes. And to say that the story that they're pushing has me interested, but I don't know if it's clicking with me yet, would be an understatement. Like, there's hills and valleys with this series just about every other minute. And I think that this is the result of that early shift from it's got to be MCU to it's not MCU anymore. Well, it's a what if. No, we're just going to do our own thing. Like, there's definitely the sense I get of that impacted this entire series. Overall, I'm not super disappointed, but I'm not super happy with it. It's something that I thought was going to be better than even like the most recent adult, and I put adult in quotation marks, iteration of Spider-Man, which, was questionable at best. When comparing it to the previous iteration, which honestly ended up growing on me somewhat, I would say there's a massive step down in terms of the Spider-Man-ness. And while comparing it to the Ultimate Spider-Man, which was dragged at first, but ended up becoming somewhat of a fan favorite, I would say it's not even as good as that. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep up with it. I'm going to maybe give it another 1 to 2 episodes to see if it hooks me, but if it doesn't, I will definitely be dropping it. I don't feel like it's offering too much of a new spin on things, while it's also trying to do its own thing that plays it rather safe. Overall, I'm somewhat disappointed with it, but I can see why people are really going to enjoy it because it is a new iteration of Spider-Man and it always draws in fans. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching and have a good one.